Bulawayo, also known as the City of Kings and Queens, is Zimbabwe's second largest city. Of late, this metropolis has experienced an unprecedented increase of criminal activities. Is it because of poverty? Is it because of the increase in unemployment? Or it's simply an eroded social fabric that's driving people crazy? Welcome to this episode of Bulawayo Crime Watch, where we look at real-life terrible crime stories that shook Bulawayo residents to the core. This man, always presentable, clean-shaven, and his hair trimmed well all the time. Also very smart, donning designer suits and well-polished shoes to church. But behind the facade of cleanliness and elegance lied a brutal, heartless, and sadistic serial murderer who would kill two innocent men within a space of 2 weeks and bury them in shallow graves. His name is Rodney Jindu. On February 3, 2017, the Bulawayo homicide detectives arrested Jindu and charged him with murder. This was after he had been cornered in the interrogation room, and when Jindu realized that his lies could no longer hold, he then confessed to killing Mboneli Jogo, his first victim, who was 30 years old. Jindu shot Ncube at the back using an Optima shotgun. Ncube lay on the ground showing some signs of life. Jindu fired a second shot, finishing him off. He then cut the remains of Ncube into pieces and burnt them. As he watched, the fire consumed the flesh of a human being. No one really knows what was going on in Jindu's psychopathic mind. After the fire had died down, he took the pieces and dug 4 shallow graves and buried them. When the police later exhumed the remains, they were stunned to find out that the victim's decapitated hand and heart were missing. Ncube's family had to face what no family should face, gathering together the remains of their loved one and trying to give them a decent burial. The Bulawayo community was traumatized by Jindu's inhumanity and asked only one question: why? Who is Jindu? At the time of his arrest, Jindu was 26 years old. Some people described him as having an innocent face. The local newspapers described him as a secretive man who was also a loner. He did his education at Petra High School, an elitist institution on the east side of Bulawayo, and played rugby there. He was a regular attendee at Roman Catholic Church in Queen's Park East. He later shifted to attend Eagle Life Ministries, a popular Pentecostal church in Bulawayo. On his Facebook page, he refers to himself as a down-to-earth person. He portrayed himself as a gentleman in public, and he won the trust and confidence of those around him. Yet deep down, he was a diabolical murderer who would later confess in court that he ate his victims' brains and livers. When it came out that he had committed blood-curdling crimes, the Bulawayo community wanted to understand why. In one of his confessions, Jindu narrated why he murdered his first victim, Ncube. He said that he shot and killed him because a traditional healer from South Africa had promised him $20,000 and a Toyota Quantum in exchange for human parts. The identity of the mysterious healer called Ndimande has never been known to this day. This depicts Jindu as a mission-oriented killer who murdered for ritualistic purposes. Cases of ritualistic killings have been on the rise in Zimbabwe. In the same year, 2017, this man from Gwanda, 22-year-old Honest Moyo, killed a homeless, mentally ill vagabond in Gwanda and dismembered his head. He carried the decapitated head around in a backpack. After his arrest, he led the police to the rest of the body of the man he had butchered. The investigators probed why he did it, and he said that he was promised $25,000 in exchange of a human head by someone in South Africa. His story is eerily similar to the one told by Jindu. In this video, Honest Moyo is admitting to decapitating the man's head and also removing his private parts.
Wena wasusenzani?
Mina ngasengithathe ngifuna.
Uthethe ndandani?
Ngithethe inhloko kanye lamaqanda.
La?
Lamaqanda.
Amaqanda enkulu. Khuluma into yiyo.
Chaza amaqandana.
Okwangaphansi.
In 2017 again, a 22-year-old man from Chivi murdered his young brother in cold blood in a ritual to get rich. And there was another incident of a 20-year-old man from Karoi who beheaded his 40-year-old sister after a local businessman offered him $4,000 for a human head. There is a worrying pattern developing of young killers committing heinous murders to get rich quick. The killers mentioned in this program have an average age of 22 years. Now, back to Jindu. After he had murdered Ncube by shooting him twice in cold blood, his urge to kill was not yet satisfied. In just a few days, he hit again, this time killing his childhood friend. On the 29th of January 2017, Jindu was in the company of his childhood friend, Cyprian Kadzurunga. The two were walking along a footpath linking Glengarry and Queen's Park East. Jindu was armed with the same Optima shotgun which he had used to execute Ncube. He fatally shot Cyprian on the head and abdomen, and then robbed him of his cell phone and laptop. He sent a fake text message to Cyprian's mother pretending to be Cyprian in an effort to throw the family on a wild goose chase.
Hi Mom, I'm just informing you that I've decided to leave Zimbabwe for South Africa. Don't bother looking for me. Bye.
He then ferried Cyprian's body in a wheelbarrow to his motor vehicle where he bungled the body into the boot of his car. He then drove to a vacant housing stand in Burnside, Bulawayo, and buried him where he had buried the dismembered remains of Ncube. Jindu had created his own little cemetery. As his trials commenced, Jindu's vehemence for guns came to the forefront. After a creepy video of him target shooting at a backyard surfaced, he was using the same gun that he used to savagely kill two people in cold blood.
Basically, we're going to be loading a 12 gauge shell into this handsome Optima break barrel shotgun. Now you want to point it towards the pumpkins. The shots will be coming in. There we go. Ooh, you feel that?
From the first day of his arrest, Jindu acted in bizarre ways. He once tried to outrun detectives at Ngulumane police station, but was caught after a 200-meter sprint. He claimed that he was sent by the devil to kill the two victims. He threatened to unleash evil spirits on prosecutors. He said he was high on heroin when he committed the murders. He tried to bribe the investigating detective with a car and some money. But all those actions were simply a manifestation of a disturbed mind. After failing to beat the judicial system, Jindu was found guilty beyond any reasonable doubt, and the judge sentenced him to death. After being sentenced to capital punishment, he remained calm and asked the judge for assisted suicide, which was denied. Throughout his trial, he never showed signs of remorse. Rather, he tried every trick in the book to try and portray himself as a model citizen. He failed dismally, and he now awaits the day of his execution.